For thousands of years, there have been these invisible threads weaving our world together. And no, they're not made of silk or cotton, they're made of something way more powerful: trade. So today, we're going to follow these threads and see how they took scattered groups of people and knit them into the connected global society we live in. Which really brings us to the big question, right? How did we get from there, a world of isolated continents and cultures, to here, a world that's so deeply intertwined? Well, the answer is kind of simple, but also incredibly complex. It's all because of those threads of trade, woven slowly at first, and then with unbelievable speed across thousands and thousands of years of human history. All right, so let's rewind. Way, way back. We're going to check out where the very first threads were spun, where this whole thing kicked off. The first connections. Long before there were empires or money, the first trade routes were, well, they were just simple paths between people. And they weren't exchanging gold or anything fancy, they were trading the things that literally meant survival. A sharper piece of flint for an axe, some obsidian for a spear tip, maybe some special shells from a distant shore. These small, local exchanges, they were the tiny seeds of everything that was to come. And from these humble beginnings, something absolutely monumental started to grow. Those simple exchanges, they evolved into the great highways of the ancient world. And of course, the most famous of them all was the Silk Road. Now, the Silk Road wasn't just one single road. You got to picture this sprawling network of paths stretching for thousands of miles, crossing these brutal deserts and massive mountain ranges. And just think about its longevity. For over 1,500 years, it was the main artery connecting east and west. That is just staggering when you stop to think about it. But here's the really crucial part. The caravans that were making their way across Eurasia, they were carrying a whole lot more than just physical products. In fact, the most world-changing cargo was often completely invisible. This slide just captures the two-sided coin of connection perfectly. Because yeah, of course, it was about amazing goods like silk and spices. But think bigger. Gunpowder travels west and completely changes warfare in Europe. Paper comes along and transforms communication. Entire religions, like Buddhism, spread along these routes, reshaping whole cultures. And, tragically, so did devastating diseases like the plague. It was a true exchange of everything humanity had to offer: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, as transformative as land routes like the Silk Road were, the real explosion in global trade, that didn't happen on dusty trails. It happened when we turned our attention to the vast open oceans. And you can see exactly why the change was so dramatic. It's a no-brainer, right? A ship could travel faster, carry way more stuff than a whole caravan of camels, and do it all for a fraction of the cost. The money part alone made it totally undeniable. As soon as the technology for ships got good enough, the shift to the seas was going to happen. And this big leap in tech is exactly what kicked off the famous Age of Exploration. European sailors, driven by this almost obsessive desire for the riches of Asia, started charting unknown waters. And in doing so, they connected continents in a way that had never, ever been possible before. For the very first time, a truly global network of trade was born. This brand new era of global connection, it brought incredible wealth and innovation to some parts of the world, but, and this is a huge but, it was built on a foundation of unbelievable suffering for others. The cost of this network was, for millions of people, just absolutely devastating. These new sea routes became the engine of the horrific transatlantic slave trade, forcibly dragging millions of people across an ocean in the most brutal conditions imaginable. They also paved the way for colonial empires to just seize control of resources and impose these vicious systems of forced labor. It's just a critical, vital reminder that for so many, these threads of trade were actually chains of exploitation. Okay, so let's jump forward in time. Technology was about to completely rewrite the rules of global trade all over again. See, the Industrial Revolution didn't just create new things to trade, it created entirely new ways to move those things around the globe. All of a sudden, with the invention of the steamship, sailors were no longer at the mercy of the wind. And on land, you have railways and canals just slicing across continents, moving goods with a speed and an efficiency that would have seemed like pure magic just a generation earlier. These technologies were the engine of a whole new era. And the impact was just immediate and, frankly, enormous. Goods could be moved faster, cheaper, and in bigger quantities than ever before. This wasn't just a small step up. It was a total transformation in the very scale of global trade. It really laid the groundwork for the modern economy we know today. So where have all these historical threads led us? Well, they've all been woven into this incredibly complex, high-tech, and mostly invisible system that powers our world right now, the modern global supply chain. Today's trade is like this amazing symphony of interconnected systems. You've got these massive container ships, each carrying thousands of boxes. Then there are the super efficient ports that can unload them in hours, rail networks that whisk them inland, and of course the digital logistics systems, the brains of the operation that track every single item from a factory floor all the way to your front door. And this right here, this really drives home just how interconnected our world is. The phone in your pocket, the shirt you're wearing right now, the coffee you had this morning, chances are the parts of those things have been on an incredible global journey, crossing oceans and continents before they were even put together and sold to you.
So, from simple exchanges of stones to these complex digital supply chains, trade has consistently woven our world closer and closer together. It has spread ideas, it has built empires, and it has created the global economy we all live in. Which leaves us with one final thing to think about. As our technology and our society keep evolving, what will the next thread in this incredible millennia-old tapestry actually look like?